Now we are birding here in Palawan. This is a magnificent island between the Philippines and Borneo. The island belongs to the Republic of Philippines. It's amazing to be here because it's the best island in the Philippines with most forest, less people and most friendly infrastructure. Here you are 100% safe. There's a birdwatcher called Totic Failanda who helped to arrange tours here with a team. They are local operators and are very able to show you the birds. It is possible to see about 30 endemics on a 1-week trip. Some groups do it in 4 days, but that is far too short if you want to do other things. I also choose to do herping at night time 2 times to see particularly frogs. It's quite reasonable priced and I had a full inclusive package. One of the very special birds to see on this private tour to Palawan was actually the Fakelided babbler. It is a very rare bird which is located by our guides and they knew exactly how to get it. They put out a branch and played back the tape so it could come to defend its territory. And rightly so, it came in and sang like crazy while jumping to side and flicking its wings. It's 1 hour drive for Puerto Pricesa and come up the hill to the station. The local people here have a sign-in procedure, so you actually have to underwrite that you're behaving correctly according to the rules. And then you have an introduction and you go to the hide. When we came down to the hide, we had to keep quiet, and it's not all about the pheasant. There's a lot of other things to see. The first thing that came was actually the bulbul. It wants a meal. They came to feed on fruits. Then we had the squirrels. But they are really not really squirrels. They are shrews. And they are more in common with monkeys than squirrels. They're completely unrelated to squirrels. However, another squirrel came to the stage and they were feeding on the worms, and that was a true squirrel. The ashy-fronted babbler or ashy-headed babbler is one of the 3 magnificent babblers you have to see on Palawan. They have melodious and facetious we have seen, and this one. And they're all difficult, but this one is the most timid one. It has a very quiet behavior compared to the others. A white-winged shama found its way to here to feed. It belongs to the chat and flycatcher family and it is endemic to Palawan. The blue flycatchers are always so special in Southeast Asia, on Borneo, in Philippines, Indonesia and Thailand. They're so magnificent. And we saw the Palawan blue flycatcher. I saw actually this one while we were looking for frogs and he was sleeping in a tree. Finally the peacock pheasant came. The most beautiful of all 8 peacock pheasants in the world. So colorful you can't imagine. So that was a great sight. In the past, birdwatchers went to St. Paul Underwater Park to see it because there was a male, a single male coming all the time. It was seen for 15 years or more, and suddenly died. And the bird watchers have nowhere to go to see the peacock pheasant. And then those people here decided to do something about it. And here we go. An emerald dove also found its way into the feeding ground to find some worms, and it's a quite common ground dove in Southeast Asia. Now we're back in the bustling, busy town of Puerto Pricesa. That's where we stayed. There's no really hotels near the birding site, so you have to stay in town and go back after the morning session to have a rest in town. The way it's operated with the cave trip, the underwater cave trip, the magnificent trip, is to go to town to buy a ticket. Then we have to drive 2 hours to a town to the north, then embark on a boat to sail for 1 hour to get to the national park. Here we have to offload, walk a few kilometers to get to another section where we have to embark another boat, a small boat. The river winds through a cave before flowing into the South China Sea. It's possible to sail about 4 kilometers into the cave area in the lower section. Do not be mistaken, this is a very touristy experience. I photographed 3 species of bat on the trip. The first one is horseshoe bat, the second one was diadem round-leaf bat, and then mouse-eared bat. The geological formation in the cave are very interesting and been formed for many years ago. There are some terms called stalactites, stalagmites, and enormous chambers, including the massive Italian chamber. It is huge, one of the biggest in the world. After the trip, we went to a house and had a very nice meal, a buffet of Philippine food, fish and whatever you can eat, vegetarian. You know, the food in Asia is very good. It's not like South America where you get sick all the time. So that was a great experience to eat something after the trip. It's not because I was eating too much on my private tour, because I didn't have time for that. Around the house there were some very nice birds coming to banana, Palawan flowerpecker, and the Palawan sunbird, and the Palawan, ashy-fronted bulbul come here, some other species also. So that was a great entertainment. One day we also went into town to a friend to Totic to photograph some birds. Particularly we had a chance to photograph this mangrove blue flycatcher, which is very widespread in Southeast Asia in mangroves only. One afternoon, when we were in town, we went to the botanical garden. Here there was an opportunity to watch a show with the indigenous people. They used to live in the mountains and lowlands and hunt for wildlife. Here we see them using arrows to shoot wild animals. And here we can see the target. They're very precise. It's very impressive. But now it is a tourist attraction. This lifestyle does not exist anymore. We can also see how they lit fire without using matches. Very useful for slash and burn agriculture. Totic arranged a visit to Irawan Eco Park, which is a catchment area for the city. It's an important area and there's no public access except if you have a permit. He arranged one for us and we go there because his friend has built a hide so we could watch pitas and kingfishers here. It's a very good opportunity, but you need an operator to get to this hide because you can't go there by yourself. This is a pita galore hide. Here you can see kingfishers and pitas. This hooded pita is western hooded pita. That's quite common in forests in many parts of Asia, and therefore you can see it. The pitas normally eat snails on the ground, and sometimes wild pigs can disturb the ground and are accessible for the pita. But here they have worms spread out because of feeding them, and therefore it's easier to see them than normal, because this is a bird group which is very, very difficult to see normally. And I have not seen all the pitas of the world. And pitas is a very special group of birds, very admired by many bird watchers. Some bird watchers actually have the pita target, so they travel across all Asia and Australasia to see all pitas in the world. I think there's more than 35 species, maybe 40 species. They split them all the time. And it's tough to get to some of the islands. This rufous-bellied pita belongs to a group, and they've been split up in many species. Each island in Indonesia and Australasia has its own red-bellied pita. And here on the Philippines, it is called the Philippine pita. And in Borneo, they have 2 species, and in Indonesia, they have 10 species. So there's a lot of more work for a bird watcher to get around to see all the pitas after they split them up in so many species. Here we see the local Palawan flycatcher. It's a very skulking bird living in the undergrowth. They live in the bamboo and very thick vegetation in a dipterocarpus forest, and they are very sensitive for natural disturbance and also human interference. The bird is very local and it has very strong attraction to one place. The pitas have a cycle of breeding. The best time to see them is before the wet season, and March, April is a very good time in Borneo and Malaysia. I don't know here in Philippines. And then when they start breeding, they don't respond very much. But they're very aggressive and chase away a lot of other birds, especially the smaller pitas. So if you see a large pita like banded or whatever, a hooded pita, you don't see the small one. But outside the season, you can see all of them if you know exactly where to look. Can you imagine to have a portrait of a pita like I have here? I was about 2 meters away from it, and I have only it here. I can't believe it. I never seen a pita like that before. So the hide is erected near a stream, particularly to attract kingfishers. The rufous-backed kingfisher is very difficult to see, and it didn't come down to the area where they have the fish pond. But at this fish pond, the blue-eared pita came and wanted to catch a fish. And here we see how it's doing it. It has been a great pleasure to be on this trip. I really enjoyed it, to come here in Palawan to see all those great birds, and the people have been very, very good on finding them, and I've seen a heck of a lot of things, also frogs and everything else. It's not on film. However, the Philippines is not an easy place to go bird watching because a lot of habitat on the main islands has disappeared, and there's a lot of hard work to get to them. Unfortunately, there are not so many facilities in the habitat, You don't have a lodge like in Costa Rica where you can sit there and have coffee and watching birds at the same time. I hope they will develop that in the future because that would be very rewarding for the bird watchers.